screws. So we have a fun project today. We, including my little helper down there, are going to get these floors out of here. And I'm kind of excited, kind of nervous because I found a couple of spots that need to be repaired because of the rust. Hopefully it's not that bad. I know I've got a spot here that needs to be fixed pretty well. I already see a hole right here that needs to be fixed. So the gist of it will be getting all these screws along the edges out. All these screws maybe have to come out. Hopefully I can just rip them up. And then from then, we should be able to just start prying the floors up. So here we go. Screws are rusted out, so they're not really unscrewing, which might be a pain in the butt later because we have to eventually get those screws out from the subfloor. But I think I should just be able to pull all these up for the most part. While we're at it, let's try that out. When in doubt, grind it out. So the problem I'm having, screws, gunk and crap loaded in them. I've gone through, I think like 10 drill bits so far, or Phillips bits. They just keep snapping off, so I've been trying to clean them out and loosen them by hand. And these screws hold down the boards beneath, so where I thought earlier that I could just skip all of them because I didn't think they were so thick, but they go all the way through the board, through the subfloor. So I've got to get them out in order to get the rest of these out. Fun stuff. Fun stuff.
So would you say that the undrilling those is the tedious part, or pulling everything up?
I think undrilling this is the part that takes so long, because the other part is just ripping these boards up. All these boards are held down by these screws, so once you get the screws out, it's super easy.
It's honestly one of my fears.
So yeah, all in all, it was actually a pretty easy process. Things I wish I knew. As far as taking the floor up, it was pretty straightforward. You have your rubber, then you've got your plywood, and there's sheet metal underneath. All those screws that run all down the middle of the rubber that hold down these metal things, I thought were short enough that I didn't have to take them all out, but I was wrong. I had to stop what I was doing, come back, take all those screws out, because those actually go all the way through the subfloor. So I wish I would have known that from the beginning. I wish I would have known that not only are these boards glued down, but they're also screwed down. Along each side of the board, you've got about 2 screws every foot and a half. So that made it a little more difficult to pry up because I was trying to fight the weight of it versus the tension. Use manual labor to just kind of rough and tough and get them up. but I didn't realize that I should have pried on some of the screws to break it loose from there. I would have saved myself some energy and definitely some time if I knew that beforehand. I would recommend ripping up the rubber mats first if you can. It's not really a difficult process. It really is just a screwdriver, a sawzall, a couple of pry bars, and a hammer. And it's really just prying up these boards and ripping some of these screws through the boards and then coming back around with either a grinder. It took me about a day by myself. The fun part about doing this, the floors, is kind of figuring out what you need to fix. We got our bus from New Jersey. The moisture seeps in through underneath the boards. There is quite a bit of surface rust on the subfloor itself. So now we've got to get some patches done. I've got to learn how to weld. I've got to go buy a welder. Emily and I are gonna sand all these spots off and then kind of go from there. But I did find quite a bit of rust up here on the front wheel well. Definitely more gnarly than I anticipated, but hey, that's part of the game. Yeah, but yeah, like the video if you like it, dislike it if you don't like it. If you could subscribe, we would really appreciate it. Like I said, we're trying to make this kind of like a how-to guide for Skoolie conversions. Anything that I've had to do more research about, we're gonna try to figure out. We're gonna try to make individual videos for this stuff. So if you could kind of send it to anybody you know that might be doing a Skoolie conversion or that needs information about it. If you have any questions, leave a comment below and we'll see what we can do to help you guys out. So appreciate you guys very much and we'll keep doing this thing.
First impression. That's nasty.